Alright, this video is covering the first round of essential math skills you need to know. This is actually more of a review of 6th grade skills. And this is kind of the first step we're taking into our skill practices for this year. So this is all the Math 7, baseline Math 7 skills you need to know. And we'll keep building on these throughout the year. So this first one, you're just comparing two decimals. You're comparing with a greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, some kids might say, oh, 345 is bigger than 82, but you need to look at and remember that this is a decimal. And when you look at 3/10 compared to 8/10, you're going to think of this as less than. The mouth will want to eat the bigger one, but this symbol here means less than. Think of it as a sideways L. Moving on. 3/5 compared to 4/6. Now, this is something you'll need to figure out without a calculator. This is a skill that you're not allowed to have a calculator on. Couple ways you can do this. Some kids automatically know what these are as decimals, and that can work. Some kids know 4/6 is 2/3, which then can be 0.6 repeating as a decimal. 3/5 is 0.6. So one way to do it is to just do it. So we've got 60 hundredths, 66 hundredths. That 6 here is going on forever. So it looked like they were tied, but then since the one's going on forever, it's going to be less than. Another way to do it, I call this the bottom-up technique. You can do 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 3 is 18, 18 is less than 20. So that's another way you can do it. Ideally, you're going to understand this fraction to decimal practice. All right, we're going to try another one. If the square root of 16 is 4, then the square root of 25 is what? What number times itself is 25? And it's going to be, well, square root of 16 is square root of 4 times 4. So this one's going to be 5. These are just some different ways you might see square root of a number. So what number times itself is 25? There you go. This is also a non-calculator skill that you'll need to know for 7th grade. Okay, the missing number. Now this is where you can use a calculator. A few different ways you can do this. So this is called a proportion. You've got a ratio equaling another ratio, and you're solving for that mystery number. 2 out of 5 is the same as what out of 15? One way you could do it is if the denominator fits nicely into the other denominator, you can think of this as, oh, well, I'm just multiplying 5 by 3. Do it to the top. 2 times 3 gives you 6. So that's one way to do it. Another way is more of the official cross product rule. For any two equal ratios, if you multiply the cross products, they're going to be the same. So 5 times n and 15 times 2. So 5 times n will be equal to 15 times 2. So 5 times n, and then just divide out the 5. So that's another way you can do it. The quick way of doing this is just to go 15 times 2 divided by 5. And we'll practice that more in class. Multiply the diagonals, divide by the other number, that gives you the missing number. Works every time. All right, this one. So what number is going to go in here? Something plus 5 equals 17. Now, if you're having a hard time figuring this out, you can always get rid of this plus 5 by subtracting from both sides. The opposite of plus 5 is minus 5, and that gives you 12. So our mystery number is 12. So this one, 4 times something is 8. 4 times a mystery number is 8. A lot of you are probably already doing this in your head. You could divide out the 4 if necessary, and you're going to get mystery number equals 2. So hopefully this isn't brand new. Hopefully you saw something like this last year. We're going to keep going. So filling in a table. Now this can get a little bit overwhelming when you see it at first. This is called a function table. So you've got x, your inputs. You've got y, your outputs. And right here is the equation that you're going to use to turn x in to figure out the output. So y equals x minus 8. Well, you take your first x and replace the x. So you go 15 minus 8. That gives you 7. So now it's going to be whatever x is minus 8. Well, I'm going to plug in a 10. 10 minus 8 gives me an output of 2. So y is going to be 2. When x is 10, y is 2. When x is 5, I'm going to put a 5 in here. 5 minus 8 gives me -3. We'll talk more about this. You can graph these x and y points. A lot of cool stuff happens. But if you can understand how this table's made, you're going to be in good shape for now. These are called linear functions, and we'll go deeper into it throughout the year. So we have another one of these. This one is going to be y equals 3x. So they're giving you some inputs. You have to figure out the outputs. So when x is 4, we plugged in a 4. 3 times 4 gave me 12. When x is 8, I'm going to plug in an 8. 3 times 8 gives me 24. And now finally, my x is going to be -2. When I plug in a -2, 3 times -2 gives you -6. And that's all you need to know for now for this type of problem. So these are called functions. Moving on. What numbers make this inequality true? So some number has to be less than 6. Hopefully you know this means is less than. So could I put a 10 there? Is 10 less than 6? No. Could I put a 4 there? Yes. So something is less than 6. I could put a 4 in there. I could put a 0. I could put a -5. Can I put a 6 in there? Is 6 less than 6? No. Can I put a -8 in there? Yes, you can. Oops, -8 does fit in there. All right, finally, one last problem. We have any number that makes this inequality true. What number can be greater than -4? Is -9 going to be greater than -4? It's not. Any positive is going to be greater than a negative, so 3 works. So something is greater than -4. 3 can work. 0. Now this can get confusing. Think of -4 as owing $4. Is having no money at all greater than owing 4? It sure is. -4 is not greater than -4, but +4 is. And is -2, this is where you have to visualize a number line. -2 could also work. -2 is greater than -4. Owing $2 is greater than owing $4. I'd rather owe just a little bit than more money here. So it's another way to think about it. That's the gist of this first lesson, this first practice. They will get harder, but this is kind of a review of your 6th grade skills as well. But this is like the baby step of the 7th grade skills. That is about it. I hope this helps. We're going to keep on pushing throughout the year.